Hey, here's an erotic moment I've been working on for a scene in May's Daughter of Darkness, book number 2, between my protagonist, Aim, who some of you know from book 1, and Maze, her love interest. He didn't take well to my rejection of his advances. I had a subtle way of letting him know I was disinterested, so subtle I didn't always pick it up myself. He might suggest we lay down together, and I might just have something better to do all of a sudden, when really up to nothing at all. Finding matches for my socks was of utmost importance, which was otherwise my lowest priority. Truly, and he knew it, I preferred not to match my socks at all. I preferred to have different color socks. Yeah, I wanted them to be of similar thickness and length and material, but as far as looks went, I couldn't care. Symmetry was meant to be smashed. So he would lay on the bed, at first on his stomach, and watch me casually go about the business of looking distracted, and he would wait, and hope I would come around. He watched me like a hungry man watches his wife prepare dinner. I liked the way he watched me. It made me feel all tingly and loved, his head resting in the cradle of his arms folded under him, and I could smell the earth in him, and sometimes I might come around in the quiet intensity of his waiting, and he would quickly unfold his arms and push up to meet me at the edge of the bed. He would cup his hands up the backs of my ankles to my thighs, and then his fingertips would reach around my thighs to the insides of my legs, receding, then reaching again, and rising toward the special place he wanted to go. And I would close my eyes when the tops of his forefingers met my pelvis, just a few fingers away from the zone. I was intensely involved in the game now, and he would do unto me what I did unto him, and make me wait for the touch in the zone. All the time my breathing getting deeper, but punctuated by shallow breaths as he played up and closer. And he was down around my waist looking up, and my eyes were closed. And he was beginning to get hard, and I was beginning to get wet. There was no going back. If anything were to attempt to distract us now, it would fail. The dream had taken over, and it's truly a dream when someone takes your body and loves you up and down and you let them. All of my sense of control suddenly faced with the helpless and powerlessness of a stronger being, telling me what to do, and I do it, whispering in my ear about punishment, admonishing any wrong move by guiding my body in a firm kind of way back. If I tried to bring my legs together, he would take his arm and push my legs apart with his elbow until I splayed back awkwardly like a foal just learning to stand. And then he would insert that first finger, so slow and deep, and I would just shudder and moan. My eyes might open and then see him now face to face, and he would bring his face close to my breast so he could feel it as it changed, deeper, shallow, all under the influence of his positioning me and touching me between my legs. And then he slaps it against me or just casually brushes up against my leg, and I desperately want him inside me now. But he makes me wait, just as I made him wait earlier. Just as I made him wait, he makes me wait, and I fucking love it. He had many scars and nicks on his young torso, some of which had been self-inflicted. He wasn't afraid. He had battled with the best and worst of men. He had been struck by tire irons and stabbed by blades. Never had he taken a bullet. He had cut into himself to divert his mind from various fallouts. I ran my hand over the muscles in his abdomen just as he was approaching climax, and his eyes lay like a dog around my neck and then faded out and came back with great resurgence, full of passion as he came. I had already, but I did again, just touching and wanting him now. He had his life in one hand and his other hand wrapped around my ankle, behind me, facing him on my knees. He was standing beside the bed again. The dream was ending and not. The dream was blending and hot. We fell over one another into the cool belly of the bed without tension or thought. I liked how all of him was double me, the size of his calves, his thighs, the thickness of his torso and neck. The only thing I seemed to have equal to his may have been the size of my head. His feet and hands eclipsed mine. His arms were thrice mine. I draped myself over him and dropped my chin over his collarbone, and together our breathing. The sounds outside the windows came back to our stillness, all the clattering of city streets. Truck beds over potholes, mufflers, pistons, belts, fans. People shouting out, kids. The wind playing the leaves on the trees. The birds. Doors and locks and dogs and chains. We were silent and removed from it all.